All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us today. Bianca, pleasure to meet you.
Great to
Uh,
meet you.
yeah, nice to meet you as well. Tell me a little bit about you and your company.
Yes, so I have High Society Mama, which is a it's across multiple social media platforms. I specifically speak to millennial moms who use cannabis and with the goal of trying to normalize cannabis, trying to help moms to feel comfortable with their cannabis use and just create a safe space where people can learn about cannabis and we work to normalize it.
Wonderful, and I understand that you are a leader in the Instagram and social influencer uh, kind of marketing strategies. What stats should, as a marketer, should or what stats should an interested marketer ask an influencer for?
So I think it's important to look at your reach, how many followers on a regular basis that your influencer is reaching. And so you can ask for that information for screenshots of it. Um, and it'll show for like the last 7 days, which is helpful. As well as if you're asking for story
Yeah.
requests or story posts, um, I would like to see, how many people are viewing those posts and a couple of examples of click throughs. So if you have a swipe
Okay.
up option and you're posting that for brands, I would want to see, are people clicking on that? And so you have that ability in your analytics, and I don't think it's a bad thing to ask for that. And also knowing the demographic that you are looking for and make sure that that influencer is matched. So for me, I have 78% women and they're primarily millennials. That's my like strongest group. I have like 85% in the US and my top 3 cities are New York, LA, and it usually switches between San Diego and Chicago because I'm partially based in Chicago. So,
Wonderful. So ask for specifically for Instagram, the views, the engagement, the clicks. If you can
and
actually on
making
some
sure
of.
that that demographic matches what you're looking for.
Okay, yeah. So demographics as far as proximity or region, and also age, sex. I don't know if you can look at income levels and all the different demographics that are available within social media.
Exactly.
Got it. Wonderful. And what kind of research should someone do on an influencer before hiring them?
So I think it's important to have a good idea of what that influencer is really about
Okay.
and like what's important to them as in terms of what are they regularly posting about. And also a little bit of research about what companies that they're maybe already partnered with. You can save yourself a lot of headache if you see them that like if you look at their website links, what what links they have that are affiliate links, or
Hmm.
how is that influencer making money? So maybe their main source of income is that they sell t-shirts. That's like their, extra way of making money. And so if you're a cannabis clothing company, it's
Yeah.
not going to be as useful for you. But if your product doesn't overlap with that, then there's an opportunity there. I get asked all the time to promote CBD flower or pre-rolls, and I own a CBD farm. Like if you look into my
Yeah.
social media a little bit more, you'll see that I have a hemp field in my backyard and we sell flower. So, it's like that little bit of research is going to save both of you a good amount of time.
Yeah. So ensure, for example, on my side, ensure that my product or service fits within your audience, number one, and that it doesn't compete with something you're already doing, and it just kind of fits within even the types of content, whether you're lifestyle, whether you're promoting CBD, or if you're, in beauty products or whatever it might be, just
Right.
ensuring that, as a partner investing with an influencer, I just want to make sure that, my dollar is well spent and
Right.
it's relevancy is key, right? So
Exactly.
wonderful. What is the best way to get the attention of an Instagram influencer if they have hundreds of thousands of followers?
So in that initial message, in that initial connection, I want to know what value your company brings to me and my followers. So sell yourself, sell your values, and tell me how working with you is going to help me and bring value to my followers. That's someone who I want to spend time with. That's someone I want to work with and partner with, because I know that it's a partnership and I know that we're going to work well together. And then we can set up what's, moving forward. But making sure there's that initial connection and that I'm not having to do the research to figure out if you're a good fit. Do some of the work for that influencer, especially as their followers get higher up. They're not going to want to talk to you unless you're very direct with like how this is a good fit.
That totally makes sense. And there's a lot of noise for someone with a large following. You get a lot of direct messages, and the basic, who, what, when, where, why, what I do, why it's of value to you can go a long way.
Right. It definitely goes a long way. Cut through the clutter and let's get down to business. Why do we mesh together?
I mean, let's be real. And you're busy, you're an influencer, you're creating content, you have established partnerships with other partners, and for you to bring on another client that you're going to promote it, they have to be a really good fit. And if you make the job harder for the influencer, they're not going to entertain the partnership, I guess.
Exactly.
Yeah. What items are negotiable with an influencer?
So I think it's all negotiable. It's just a matter of, and so I think it's, what style of content that you're wanting and, what platforms. So even though I get a lot of messages on Instagram in my DMs, I'll get DMs for TikTok through Instagram. And so being direct in terms of what your priority is, and also what those expectations are. So I think, wall posts are obvious on Instagram are obviously more valuable than story posts. So for me, out of the kindness of my heart, when a brand is really speaks to me and they're a startup and they're really meant for moms, then it makes sense for me to do some kind of, goodwill, and I'll try the product, I'll post it on my stories and not charge anything for it. But then for a wall post, then I'm only talking with companies that are willing to pay for that slot. And I think there's also, sometimes I see companies just say that they request that it stay up for 1 week. And so I think that by including that information and starting to discuss that information, then you open the influencer up to be more open to work with you, because maybe it's not a permanent post, or maybe it's only up for 3 days. Then it doesn't hold as much value on their permanence. However, I do think that the, value of a long-term partnership really opens up the door for more negotiations.
Yeah,
so it's
building that
I like
trust.
to know that we're going to be working together long-term, and, that there's some benefit for me that's going to continue beyond this one wall post.
Yeah, you want that commitment. And if they're purchasing 4 posts per month for a year, then that's consistent revenue for you as an influencer. And it's also, building that trust with your partner. It's
Right.
being collaborative on the types of content, and and all just be more effective because you're working together long term. So you learn more about each other.
Absolutely.
And you brought up a good point. So, the type of post, the type of content, like what's the average cost of a post or an Instagram story?
So I think it really depends on the content creator. I would say ranging from $100 to $500 is pretty common.
Okay.
And when you're going back to like doing the research about that influencer, it's like, if that influencer's job is social media management for other companies, or maybe they're a photographer, there's sometimes ways that you can work with them in multiple ways so that you're getting more value because you're hiring them for a service while you're also hiring them for a post. And so, I think that there's that, what is their offering? How can you work together best? Because it's like, if you're hiring them as a photographer and you're getting this full set of photos back, like another ask that I've had is that I provide one wall post and as well as 5 high quality lifestyle photos that they can use. And so then they're paying for the post, but they're also getting this other added value that they can use on their social media that adds diversifies their offering on their social media. And then it also shows that they're being partners with me because they're promoting the influencer as well as one of their partners on their social media. So I think that's, interesting to look at. I also try to negotiate or discuss cross-platform advertising, whether it's, if the influencer has a large Facebook group, then you might, work something in that they're sharing something about you in their group, or it's on TikTok and Instagram, or, I think there's like interesting ways to work those deals that have more benefit than just a single wall post. And when also, as it pertains to cost and negotiation, if the influencer is creating the content versus if you're just paying for a slot on their wall, which I imagine a lot of people don't necessarily do, but I guess some people could, just get paid to slap one of your designated photos up on their wall. It might not resonate as well, but maybe that's what you want. Maybe it's this particular photo that you're trying to get out there, So I think there's a time and a place for it all. And then also within that negotiation, I love giveaways. So when someone reaches out and they have a purpose and they know what their call to action is, it really makes the creation process easier on the influencer. So when someone's able to reach out and they have this marketing concept already figured out, and you're just trying to fit those guidelines, or they know they want to do a giveaway for this particular holiday, then it gives that post purpose and it just makes the whole creation process easier. And always, giveaways work really well for adding that call, obvious call to action. You're at increase, but you're both able to increase your followers and reach, and gives people a reason to comment. So I also think providing affiliate links or discount codes can be really helpful when you're working with that influencer. So you're reaching out to them and having this stuff already outlined when you're reaching out to them shows that you're well prepared to work with them, and it's going to be a really easy process, which obviously helps any influencer to choose to want to work with you when it's well thought out and
Yeah.
planned.
Exactly. No, that was all helpful information. And you brought up a good point about the campaign content. So, what should a brand provide an influencer in terms of campaign direction, images, hashtags,
And so,
copy to include,
yeah, I think it's important that the brand, if they have any specifications, they have that outlined in the documents or in the follow-up to start the process, because I've had ones where brands are like, no crop tops. I wear crop tops all the time. That's just like my jam. I'm at a point in my style life that I wear crop tops a lot. So I was like, oh, okay, that's good to know. I would have never thought of that. I wear crop tops every day of my life. So I know that's a silly thing, but if that's something that's important to them, put it in there so that influencers aren't coming to you with content and then you're disapproving of it. So, if you want no smoking in the images or no paraphernalia, and certain brands are particular about those things. So outline it up front so that there's no hiccups in the process. So again, discount codes, very helpful. Providing that call to action, even if it's not a specific call to action, it's a direction for the call to action, that can be helpful in the influencer understanding what your goals are so that they can meet your expectations successfully.
Yeah, and then on the attribution side, if you have a unique discount code, then on your partner side, they can track to see how many people made a purchase or downloaded some free book or whatever it might be.
Right.
You'll be able to track the impact of the
Exactly.
campaign.
And as far as hashtags, it's been a really interesting process for the past like couple years on hashtags. So I don't know how I feel about providing content hashtags that are specific to your brand, because if they're not already high enough up, like if they're only have 100 hashtag uses, you might be hurting that influencer's reach by adding that hashtag. And so I just think that that's a really, I know that I wouldn't go that direction personally, just knowing how the Instagram algorithm has been going within cannabis content.
Makes sense. I was going to actually ask the follow-up to that is, should you post content with a hashtag on that first story? So I've heard that you shouldn't, and that you should post that perhaps in the second comment. So I've seen that a lot.
Like in the comment.
Yeah.
Posting the hashtags as the first comment.
Exactly.
I've played with it all recently, and I have gotten to the point where I don't always include hashtags because it doesn't seem to always help. And except for with reels. And reels are a really interesting area as well, which it's like when you're talking about the cost of content, reels take more time and energy for a lot of people to think of a concept, but your return on your investment might be much higher. So it's like my reels might get or my regular post might get 1,000 likes versus my reels can sometimes get 3,000 likes, and my reels can sometimes have a reach of 25,000 to 50,000. So it's like, that's something to consider in terms of how that influencer reaches their audience. And some people have really strong stories, like their stories are constantly adding tons of value and people are clicking through them and people are looking at them. And, that can be a great investment if people can show that they're just stories alone get lots of
Yep.
views and lots of click-throughs. So
Wonderful.
I know a lot. There's a lot.
I know. I know. There's never ends with social media. Uh, as far as an influencer, what would entice an influencer to become a regular content creator for a brand?
So I really like partnerships that are long term. I think it shows more, brand loyalty, that you're not just out there to bounce around from one company to another to make money off of every single post. And so I think really from the start, creating that value for the influencer and letting them know your intentions of continuing to work with them. And what I see a lot is just, hey, we want you to be a brand ambassador. Here's an affiliate code. And that's fine for getting more brand ambassadors. But once you get into larger influencers, there needs to be more value that you're bringing. So if it's a monthly allocation of a certain quantity of product, or a monthly payment for X number of swipe up story post and one wall post a month, I think anything more than one wall post a month starts to get very spammy. And so it needs to be, I think, at least based on like that monthly basis, and whatever you can offer them that brings them some value, that helps for them to want to continue that partnership.
Yeah, and as you get bigger as an influencer, what does an affiliate code like have value to you? You probably get 100 of those per week. Like you're not getting paid up front. You're not getting any swag, anything to give away.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it's like,
So
I think there has to be like this nice balance of, agreed amount of giveaway stuff. And it can be per year, or once per quarter. But then, even just managing a giveaway takes
yeah,
time and effort, and you're putting it together and you're writing the caption and you're promoting it on their story to make
yeah,
sure that people enter. And, it takes a lot of energy and effort. And
yeah,
so when deciding on those giveaways, it's like, look at your product value that you're offering. Make sure it's valuable enough that people are going to get excited about it and they're going to want
hmm
to, enter. And so it can be, 5 winners or 3 winners. And it can be a kit instead of just one single item. Make it more valuable so that it has more lasting reach and impact. And I think less is more. Having really good partnerships with a couple of influencers is better than having a bazillion subpar ones that are not even excited to post. And when you're looking at your total reach amongst that pool of influencers, if you have 3 that have incredible reach and are long-term partners, you're going to reach a bigger audience consistently than having to deal with a bunch of itty bitty influencers and continuously find new ones and continuously come to these agreements over and over again. So I think it's beneficial for everyone, not from a time
it's
standpoint.
yeah, it's a lot of management, and yeah, if you go with, let's say, the 80-20 rule, and you invest in partnerships with with different influencers, you give them, let's say, 80% of your giveaway, your free product, your investment, and really focus on those partnerships instead of, like as you said, quantity. Like there could be 1,000 influencers out there, and like how difficult is that going to be to manage, to continually update them with content, with requests, and also just messaging back and forth. It's a lot of energy, as you said. So
Exactly.
and what kind of research uh, does an influencer do before agreeing to work with a brand?
So I, again, want to see that that company shares values with me,
Okay.
and that they are someone who I want to recommend, who I align with my beliefs and my, like, it's, I'm not just high society mama. I'm also Bianca, the person that's behind this. And just like I don't want to recommend my, best friends a bad product, I also don't want to recommend anyone out there that's following me a bad product.
Yeah.
So I want to know for sure that I like it, that I believe in it, that I trust the company, that it's a good brand that I think, is aligns with me.
Yeah.
And so I think there's always, looking at lab tests and
Yeah.
looking at their social media for causes that they support, or, you know, learning more about their about us on their page. But, speaking with the companies or someone from the company and having that
Yeah.
personal connection with them, I also think is really important. I,
Yeah.
like, all the
Everyone's trying to
brands that I
hide.
work with, I know their CEO and I know their marketing person. And it's like, I have that connection with them and I'm part of their team. I'm not just this outside force that's only communicated with through my DM.
Yeah, it's like don't hide behind your computer. Hop on Zoom. Hop
Right.
on the
I
call.
want to
Pick
know
up the
that, like,
phone.
there's someone in that company that cares
Yeah.
about working with me. I'm
Yeah.
not just like, I don't just have the intern DMing me,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
So, I
Like
mean, I
totally
think that
makes
there's
sense.
also, like, that caring touch that makes a big difference,
I
and
agree. I agree.
brands that
And
I
that we've
have like an ongoing relationship with, it's like they contact me each month. Hey, how's it going? What do we have coming up this month? This is what we're promoting. Let us get you this out to you. And, there's that continuous communication. I'm not having to knock
yeah.
down their door. They don't have a revolving door of, new interns that are coming in to
Yeah.
communicate with me. I want to
Yeah.
know that that company is here to stay and they're not just some flight, even if they are brand new. And, like, I get it. I have my own company that,
Yeah.
is just getting our feet wet. And I know that changes happen, but I want to be part of some kind of communication. So
Exactly. And so as far as like types of content, what's the craziest thing you've been asked to do as an influencer?
I I don't feel like there's anything all that crazy. I will say I I had a woman who's she happens to be a mom. And when I looked into that, I like fell in love with her even more. But she's a uh, rap music artist, female. And I
Nice.
got asked to create whatever I wanted from any of her songs. All I needed to do was dance to one of them.
Oh,
And
there
I
you
could say whatever
go.
I wanted in it. I could promote whatever I wanted. I just had to pick one of the songs and use it. And I was super excited about that when there was no parameters and, like, she just was trying to get her music out there. And so the openness of it, they said exactly what their goals were. And so it was very easy to fulfill. And the expectations just were really, like, fun and simple. And I
That's
fell in love
great.
with her music. And now I've, like, gotten a bunch of my friends to love her music. And so,
That's
um,
fantastic.
yeah, so it's one of those, like, random ones where I was like, what? You want me to what? Who are you? Why? And then I went and listened to it and I was like, this is awesome. This is
So I've
great. I totally
actually
want to do this.
I've heard the same thing. I was getting a signed book from a speaker, and he said the same thing. Is like, I'm not going to sign your book unless you're dancing. It's like that's his way of getting people to have fun and happy. And it was more of a health related kind of speaker. So he wanted to get people
Right.
up and moving, right? So
That's
and then
great.
yeah, and then as finally, influencers in the wild catches up with you. What have you been film doing, kind of out in the wild?
I mean, there's no shortage of me dancing out on social media. So I would say, except for I posted one literally yesterday and I got a comment that the dancing was horrible. And I was like, I'm appalled that you would say that, but I got you to comment on it. So I guess my dancing was awesome. I'm not taking that as a put down. That was a total accomplishment because I got you to engage with my social media.
There you go.
That's the
Mission
beautiful thing
accomplished.
that all the ridiculous things that you might do. I mean, I think it's more like the number of things that I've made my husband do as part of
Mm.
and it's more ridiculous when I make him sing or rap to the plants and dance because that's not his thing. So I think he's more the one that's the influencer in the wild.
Oh, there you go. Oh, well, Bianca, thank you for taking the time today and sharing, all your insights into reaching influencers and social media. And I mean, is there anything else you'd like to add and share with the audience?
No, this was a great reminder lesson for me as an influencer of all the things that are important to me and that I should be making sure that I'm checking all these boxes because I think it's important for both sides in order
Yeah.
to build a good relationship. And I think, we get really busy and get a slew of requests and at some point you have to say no and
Yeah.
that this isn't a good fit, this isn't worth my time, this isn't, and it's hard to do that. And so I think the other piece of advice that I would give to people is give the influencer that option, like let me know if this you think this is a good fit, because
Yeah.
then it
Great point.
invites that influencer to not waste your time, to not feel like they need to do this and to find that like you're going to cut down on a lot of the time spent going back and forth if
Yeah.
you can give them all that info and then give the invitation to, hey, if this doesn't seem like a good fit for us, for you, I totally understand, just let
Yeah.
us know.
Yeah, exactly. It has to work for both parties, right? So,
Right.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
wonderful. Well, thank you again for taking the time today, and I guess I'll catch you on Instagram here soon.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. Feel free to check out my reels. I feel like that's my sweet spot. So lots of wonderful content there for normalizing cannabis for moms and beyond moms. And for all of the, foot traffic and companies out there working with you, keep in mind how important that millennial mother demographic is, because that's where the buying power is coming in. That's where the decision making in the household is happening. And
Yeah.
if you can capture and reach that audience, you can have a very loyal um, foot traffic
Yeah.
regularly. So I
Yeah.
just don't
Yeah.
want that segment of the industry to be forgotten about because we're making waves in the cannabis space. So
And I know that it's women and baby boomers. Those are the two fastest growing demographics in cannabis. So,
yeah.
right there with you. Do you want to share your handle and where people can find you?
Yes, absolutely. High Society Mama, MAMA on the mama. And I'm on Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and I also have a Canamom High Society club on Clubhouse that we've been
Wonderful.
having lots of discussions on. So
Well, wonderful. We'll catch you up there, and thank you again for taking the time today, and wishing you all the best.
thank you so much.
Cheers.